Up, 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 good, good, good. Come on, one more, I'll help you out, one more. Drive, toes, 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 toes. Drive up, go, go, push, 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 push. Good, well done.
Didn't realise how rotated I was.
Okay guys, so I'm really excited about today. Today I've got Ali Fraser with me. Ali, if you'd like to give a quick introduction of yourself.
Yeah, so I'm an online coach. I coach coaches. I run an online mentorship for coaches to improve their knowledge on training with my friend Nathan, who does the more gut health thing. So it's a very cool experience for me to go through this, where we're going to do things a little bit different, because I do train like a bodybuilder. I do compete in bodybuilding, so it's going to be a bit eye-opener for me, I think, in regards to opposite ways, or different ways I should say, to train.
Yeah, so today Ali's asked me to see if we can address the shoulder imbalance, prep him for slowly transitioning over to playing golf again, and also helping him build muscle tissue all in one session. So quite easy, obviously, as you can imagine. But no, it's just going to be an introduction into the kind of the APX training methods, get an understanding, and obviously I'm going to give you a thorough explanation of what we're doing and why as well. So this is what I would say is a priming drill. In APX, I might talk about things like fascia, and fascia does generally mean like muscles or channels of how muscles connect to one another. A big part of bodybuilding is rotation. A big part of golf is rotation. So what we're going to be doing is stretching the outside channel, the outside fascial line for Ali with this exercise, but also working on his glutes as well. So just going to lie on his side, and it's going to bring this here like so. And what I want him to do is just going to drop that hip down. He'll feel a really nice stretch in the hip here, and he's going to bring it up to my hand like that. So slowly down like that, big stretch, and up, and big stretch. He's going to hold it for 2 seconds, so he's going to go 1, 2. Now the thing that's really good about this is that you can make it a lot more dynamic, so I can just raise it up. If you want to put your hands on there, mate, yeah, that's it. And then lift up, and then hold, 1, 2, back down. And I can change the hip position each time, go down. So we can target areas that might seem as if they appear to be a bit weaker. So TFL there is fine, but if I get him right there, we can get really into those glute med fibers, pick that up and hold, 1, 2, and back down. And again, 1, 2, back down. Let's just do one more and hold, 1, 2, back down. Great, cool. So maybe thinking like, I don't have access to one of these. You can get them online where you can just strap them to your feet and then apply a dumbbell to that. Worst comes to worst, you can get some ankle weights. You'll be surprised, that's 2.5 kilos. You don't need a lot of weight. And with this one, endurance is better, because you want these deep hip rotator muscles to be absolutely screaming at the end, which I'm sure you'll be able to feel.
Yeah, 100%. So, Joe, Chris, when you said my right side would really struggle to get short within these movements, is that typical for anybody in general, or is it just me specifically for my own needs?
So yeah, that's both yes for you and yes, typically speaking.
Yeah.
So it's not with everybody, but when the typical asymmetrical pattern is when there's more of a rotation, an internal rotation on the right, which is more common. When you've done anything which is very taxing on the brain and body, such as bodybuilding, it'll ingrain that. So a lot of people will have that like increased internal rotation at the hip, external rotation at the foot, and external rotation on the left.
So when that gets more balanced per se, would that mean I'll have to potentially reset the lifts because of a new loading pattern, or should it just sort of work?
No. You'll notice is like, if you were to do anything like lift now, which we will do later on, you just notice it's smoother. Okay. You'll notice probably your left glutes firing a lot more.
Okay, cool.
All right, so now we're going to add these wedges. This is going to be specific to Ali based on some adaptations that have happened. So this is just from the assessment of looking at his shin bone, his ankles, and it's going to be a bit of fun. Now, obviously, he can lift way more than, what's that, like 12 kilos, 10 kilos on there. This isn't about hypertrophy. It's not about growing muscle tissue. It's to potentiate his ability to grow muscle tissue. Put that underneath your toes there, mate. Just the outside toes there. So this is directly going to help him with his posing, reaching different positions, but it also will massively help his squats and deadlifts too. So go backwards a little bit, and with your right foot.
Apologies.
Now what Ali's going to do is we're going to make this a hybrid movement because he's moving too quick through his feet. So in other words, he's got very good dorsiflexion, which is actually preventing him from properly utilising his glutes. So he's going to push through his outside toes really hard. That's it. You're going to go there. Now lean forward a little bit more as well. There, that's perfect. Good. And now pushing. So I want a little bit more forward lean and try and contract your foot, quad and hips at the same time. And as he rotates there like that, that's brilliant. Good. And brings himself up. So go toes first and then leg press yourself away. Really nice. Turn that knee in slightly. There. Toes first, push through the toes first, then leg press yourself away. Toes first and leg press yourself away. Just a tiny bit more lean. So leaning forward and then push through the toes, calf press like that. If you can start to feel his calves, and that's amazing. But he'll really be getting his glutes. Good, let's do 2 more. Lock in, think toes first, push through the outside of the toes, bring yourself back up, keep pushing. So I'm looking for timing, as in, how does he move through his ankle, knee and hip? Go. Fantastic, great set, really good set. If there's one thing that heavy hinging will do, it will ingrain, what people say is anterior pelvic position. So if we want to improve anything such as our rotation, first thing we need to do is what I call get the pelvis back. You're going to tuck, and then what I'm going to say to you is keep your belly button locked in. So it's in, you're basically doing a crunch. So he's doing a reverse crunch, but instead of his upper body being the pivot point, it's going to be his lower body. So he's going to bring his knees here. He's going to have his knees like that. Now the advantage that bodybuilders like Ali have got is that the legs are so heavy, they act as the weight. So jokes aside, because his legs are really got a lot of muscle tissue, if he keeps that crunch now and straighten one of his legs, so just straighten this one here like that, is that he's going to really feel those obliques kicking in quite significantly. And I go, keep going there. And that's great. And just go from side to side. So we're just going to do 10 actually on one side here, and I'll explain why. So what we're doing here is that we're kind of teaching the psoas to lengthen, hypothetically, but we're just keeping his pelvis locked in, and he'll feel his core, feels obliques. And this is really important for counteracting all the dense muscle tissue and strength in the spinal erectors. Obviously, if you were to contextualize it and say, that's great, mate, keep going. Contextualize it and see the difference between, deadlifting 200 kilos plus versus doing this is never going to win. Obviously, it's a bodyweight exercise. That's when you might utilize putting weights on the feet to make it a bit more challenging. But right now, this is challenging enough. Now with this one, I don't mind a little bit more like momentum, because if he goes too much trying to use specific muscles, he'll probably go a bit too much into the hips. So it's like a pendulum, take it back and then just pause 1, 2, swing back. So what we're doing here is a little bit more like fluid running mechanics. And the cue that I'm going to get him to do is round this back as much as he can. So we want as much spinal flexion. And as he brings his knees up, he'll feel his core and his abs contract a lot. So if we go really basically, so if we think about this from an anatomical point of view, is that the deep psoas muscles need to be strong in order for the glutes to be strong. We never really train our psoas muscle or our hip flexors, like I say. This allows us to do that with overload, and it's an awesome movement. Good, that's fine. It's an awesome movement for core, should we say, but for your lower back. And if we're looking at longevity and we don't want to have lower back disc injuries, this needs to be a staple. And Ali did say, why are we raising the heel and keeping the knee bent? That's because doing that is working this hamstring as an isometric. So we're getting that reciprocal, go again there, mate. Reciprocal relationship of one hip flexor, one hamstring firing at the same time, which is what we want. And what Ali will find is that the right is a lot easier, but his left's now giving up on him. Yeah. So I look to tick boxes. Once I've ticked a box, I move away from that box. So first one, mobilize the hips, get them in new ranges, done. Next thing is actually put that into a functional setting. So use his foot and hips at the same time. We've done that. One thing is stabilize the pelvis, fire up the hip flexors, done that. Now we need to do something which is the main event. The main event is just going to be a classic Smith machine split squat. What I like about this one is that in a lot of these situations, we're relying on our own internal stability. So firing up feet, firing up, hips and everything. But when we want to apply load, we want to take that away, which is why the Smith machine is actually a better option, in my opinion, because Ali can go heavy in this situation where he wants to grow muscle tissue and get stronger. If he can't go heavy, he's wasting his time. And that's the important thing, is that none of the things that we've done so far are going to contribute to hypertrophy unless we have something that we can load. Okay, so we're going to do the exact same set. He's going to step backwards. So what we've got now is this band's going to act as a cue. It's not a challenge, as in like that is not to make it like it's basically adding load. It's just to remind him, drive your left hip back, okay? We're going to do 10 to 12 reps. Okay, so sit back there, slow, and push up. Good. Right, now he's going to use the toes. So you do want that knee to go forward and drive up there. Good. Sink into it. Just before you push into the ground, drive your hip into the band. So as in rotate your left hip the other way. That's it. Good. You okay?
Yeah.
Good.
It's harder than I thought.
Good. Okay, let's get two more. Pause. Up. Good. Come on, one more. I'll help you out. One more. Drive, toes. Drive up. Go. Push. Good, well done.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't realize how rotated I was.
So what that does, it's just teaching him to get into that. That's just more left-sided hip internal rotation. What's your max deadlift, or what like?
I can pull 240.
Yeah, so pulling 240. So it's not, Ali is not weak. He's definitely not weak. What this is doing is just exposing his body to a position it's not used to being in, and that exposes a weakness. If you address that, his squats, his deadlifts, all those will skyrocket, but with the correct or more favourable muscle activation. So just basically muscle alignment. Where'd you get that one?
Or left glute. It was just no, obviously because I'm used to going to a certain movement.
Yeah.
It was so hard to fight it.
Yeah.
That's why it was so hard.
What I'm looking for here is if Ali goes like that, if I keep his hip here, so that's a stable hip. Now if you rotate there, he can pretty much almost show this entire side with not too much give. Now what happens is, and this is a really key thing in posing, is that if you can't rotate through the thoracic spine because you tight through your glutes and you tight through your thoracic, the way you do that is you drop the hips forward, you go into massive extension in your lower back, and then as you rotate, you grind the crap out of your lower lumbers, which is going to irritate your lower back. If you combine rotational compression through posing with hinging, you are going to have lower back disc issues. It's almost a guarantee. Whereas that, all we've done is fire up the glutes. We've not even done any thoracic rotation work, and suddenly, so it's a win-win situation. We've got an exercise which grows his glutes, he can overload, and it's actually helping his posing as well. Right, so, sorry, you stand up for 1 second. Yeah, so just to show you what we're going to do is that we are going to do now really nice old school movement. You'll see loads of guys doing this thinking it's for the lower abs. It kind of is to a degree. What this is doing is that essentially, number one, spinal decompression. Whenever you lift heavy stuff, your spine will get a little bit compressed. So this is a great way of doing that. It will get obliques, it will get internal, external obliques, especially doing this movement. We can cue that rounded spine, which doesn't usually tend to happen. But what it'll do mainly as well is if you strengthen it, it'll help with that rotation, especially from the upper body thoracic rotation. So remember, we've worked on these side glutes so much, we're going to work on some thoracic rotation. Even though it looks like the thoracic isn't moving, it is, because it's being pulled down by the pelvis and we're getting some movement through it. So I'd always recommend straps with this. I do like people training the grip, but it defeats the object. If your grip is failing on this, you're not going to be able to do it. I just want to see 5 each side, please, mate. And the cue is tuck your hips underneath you, knees as high as you can, and slowly, like that. Nice. Yeah, nice, yeah. A nice little adjustment there. Just a slow movement and right the way up. Good. 4. Right the way up through there. Good, just like that. Really slowly, getting that contraction. Feel abs on that one?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And this one, it's quality over quantity. You keep going, you'll probably go into like your rec fem or your quads basically. With this one, you just want that slow movement where you almost think of it, it's like it's the same tempo. It's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's just that really controlled crunching where you're going like this. So you're rounding the spine, you really get those to work. We're going to superset the hanging leg raises with just walking lunges. Ali would need to probably walk from here to Birmingham to actually feel like any type of benefit. In other words, like he'd need load, especially with this session, is we haven't fatigued his legs near enough to get a stimulus from this. What this is just ingraining into his brain that rotational pattern. So he's just going to drop down into it, and we're going to make use of the fact that his hips and his thoracic, so his upper back, are going to be way, way, way more mobile than they would do usually. So he's just going to go there and back, just striking down, rotate into it. That's brilliant. And the thing that I'm just going to cue to him is forget everything apart from your feet. So your feet are going to grab the floor and then just twist there. So this is physiological, as in we're just going to get some movement through the hips, through the spine. But it's also what I'd say neurological, as in like he's really going to have to think about it and just go steady like that. So yeah, so in terms of all the exercises there, you've got many different options. You could either do everything we've done today as a standalone session and do it part of a rotation. So it might be week 1, you're doing a deadlift variation. Week 2, you're doing this session. Now, the problem with that is that you might not get the exposure to the deadlifting pattern as much as you want to. And I would say if someone's like beginner to intermediate, that's a less favourable option. For Ali, if you're pulling anything over double body weight and above, when you're getting past 200 kilos, this is a great option because it lets your central nervous system completely relax. You're tidying up weaknesses, and it's very likely, if you periodise it properly, that your deadlift numbers would skyrocket because you've got 2 weeks in between maxing out. The other option is just to sprinkle it in before the lifting. So sprinkling it in at the beginning of sessions. I would definitely recommend that Ali does the rotational split squat one on the cable and the multi-hip knee to chest before deadlifting. I think he'd feel great after doing that. But what I'd say with people is like, when you're about to do something heavy, you want your body to be in the most primed and like aligned position as we can do. So if somebody's like this with the hips or the shoulders up here like that, and then you're doing a squat and deadlift, it's well, no wonder I'm getting this lower back or shoulder irritation because I've not done anything to like counter rotate yourself. So yeah, if you're more elite and you've been doing it a lot longer, I would do rotation of this type of thing, a rotation of your typical bodybuilding. If you're new to it, just start your sessions with some of the stuff you've seen today. It'll have a big benefit. But anything you want to add there, mate?
No, it's really cool. And anyone who does do bodybuilding and wants to challenge themselves in a different way, I'd highly recommend this.
Yeah.
I highly would, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks very much for watching, guys. If you've got any questions, pop them in the comments below. And if you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe.